guys, welcome back or welcome to my channel. I know I'm in like an ominous setting for this video today, but it relates to the video, so it'll make sense in a minute. But today I am answering some questions. I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me literally any question about anything that relates to me, and we're gonna answer them today. So you guys actually asked me a good amount of questions, which I was honestly surprised about, but I told you to ask me anything. So here we are. So let's get started. Did you go to school for graphic design or are you self-taught? This was the first question that got asked. I'm gonna answer that. And the answer is no. I do everything self-taught. I am currently in school for a advertising and marketing degree, which technically you could apply graphic design and photography elements to that, but that's not what I'm learning in school. I think with graphic design and photography and stuff like that, it can definitely be self-taught. Like, you definitely don't need to go to school for it. And so why not diversify my skills by also learning marketing and advertising while also learning photography and graphic design on my own. COVID actually was super beneficial for that because I learned all of my graphic design in COVID, like quarantine, because I had nothing else to do. So I learned Photoshop. And now that we're kind of getting out of it, I am rediscovering my love for photography. So that is something that I'm very interested in at the moment. What camera do you use for all your pictures? This was the second question asked, so I thought I would answer it. I use a couple different cameras. I currently own I own 4 cameras at the moment. I'm debating on getting another one, but hear me out. Let me show you. This is, I actually was gonna film with this one for this video, but I decided since I'd probably show you it, I am gonna film on the camera that I am. But this one is the main one that I shoot with for portrait photography or anything that I genuinely want to look like really professional. This is the Canon 5D Mark III. So she's a little older, but she's cute. And I have a 24 to 70 millimeter zoom lens on here, which gives me a lot of variation with portraits and stuff. I honestly want another zoom lens that's like even farther of a zoom, but I think I'm gonna wait a little bit on that. This is my baby. It works really well. Obviously, this is just the hood that I use when I'm doing outdoor photography. She's big, she's heavy, she works. I think the Canon 5D, any Canon 5D is pretty standard for photography. If you wanna do like serious photography, she's a baby. She's expensive. She's really expensive, but she gets the job done. I bought it used, so it wasn't as expensive as if you were to buy it new, but she does all my main photography. The camera that I use depends on the look that I want, right? If I want a professional, very digital, or just very clear, professional looking shot, then I will use this. If I want a film look, or if I want it to just look a little bit different, I'll use this guy. This is my Fujifilm X100F. It looks like a film camera, but it is digital. This camera is really great if you are someone, first of all, it takes beautiful photos. I have used this in conjunction with the Canon 5D, and sometimes I don't know the difference. Like, I don't remember which camera I took the photo on because they are both so incredible. But the thing that I like about this camera is that it's incredibly unassuming, right? If I were to just have this around me all day, nobody would care. Nobody would think that I'm a photographer, and I wouldn't, so if I want to do like street photography or anything like that, any outdoor photography, if I'm going, like last week I went to this like little old bookstore and I brought this camera and I took random photos of everything, and like, did they notice? No. If I were to bring that giant one in, they probably wouldn't have liked me, but this is unassuming. I can take this anywhere with me. So I'm not missing any shots. Like, I can't carry this around everywhere. You know what I mean? And I'm missing a lot of candid, spur of the moment shots. That is the type of photography that I really like. So having something like this that I can genuinely carry anywhere and not have to worry, is just really great. This is just a lens hood that I have on here. I also have, so this is a 35 millimeter lens. I also have a 50 mil adapter. So this is what the adapter looks like. So as you can see, larger lens. It's a 50 mil lens, so it's a little bit of a closer shot, and also it's really, really great for portraits. Even though this is obviously a bigger lens and makes the camera a little bit more heavy, it's still, even with this lens, incredibly, incredibly portable, especially compared to the 5D. So again, having something like this that I can carry on the go, I can take anywhere and get those shots that I wouldn't otherwise with the 5D is brilliant, and definitely one of my favorite cameras. This is also mirrorless compared to the DSLR, so it is a different like type of camera as well. Those are the two main cameras that I use. The camera that I'm filming on is a Canon G7X Mark II. I'll leave pictures, but it's like a standard vlog camera with like a flip up screen. It's nothing super fancy. It's just like what vloggers use, but I like it for video only pretty much. I don't really use it for photos just because it doesn't have a lot of the features that those cameras have. So this is definitely more of like a video camera. And then here's my Polaroid camera. This is the Polaroid one-step I-type camera. Pretty standard, it's super cute. I think you all know what a Polaroid camera is, but I like it because of how tangible the photos are. I am considering getting a film camera. I want the AE1 Canon. My best friend has that film camera, and we recently did a photo shoot and we used that one in conjunction with my camera. And she actually today just sent the film to be developed, and it was so much fun shooting with that camera. And I love the sort of candidness of film, and also the fact that you have to be very strategic. Like if you only get 35 shots, whereas my camera, I can get like 700 shots on, I'll do like 700 shots on a shoot. Whereas with the film camera, you only get, so many shots. So you have to be very strategic, and I don't know, I really, really like that. So I'm sure in the future, I might buy a roll of film and then use her camera to see if I end up liking it. It is a bit of an investment that I don't want to do right now, so I might hold off, but I'm sure probably within the next year, you'll see me with a film camera. Favorite Catholic podcast besides Creative Minds? Smart. If you guys didn't know, I host a podcast for the Creation Project called Creative Minds. It is a Catholic creativity podcast where we just talk about being Catholic in the space, the experience of a young Catholic creative and what that's like. And it's so much fun. Honestly, it is like one of my favorite things that I do right now. We have so many guest episodes, and it's a fun time. I do love doing that podcast, and it'll be linked down below. Shameless plug. It's just so much fun. My favorite Catholic podcast would probably be Pints with Aquinas. I know that sounds so basic, but I feel like I always get something out of that podcast, which I'm sure everybody knows about. He just has so many great guests on, and again, I feel like I learn so much from them, and I'm just so entertained by those podcasts anyways. Is there anyone or anything that inspires you in your photography? Of course. I am really, really into vintage styled photography, like film photography, obviously, but I would say my favorite like era of photos is probably like 1955 to 1975. Currently, I'm really interested in, and I'm influenced by like early 70s, late 60s photography, because that's fun. And just the era was like super fun, and that's reflected a lot in photography. But I would say my favorite photographer at the moment is Linda McCartney. I love Linda McCartney. If you know me, I feel like I talk about her all the time. Her photos just had an incredible candidness. She obviously used a film camera, and they're just incredibly candid and real, and they're incredibly simple, but they tell a story. And I think that's always what I want my photography to reflect, is just having an incredible story in something that is seemingly really, really simple. Where do you get most of your clothes? Goodwill, honestly. I mean, my favorite high street store is Mango, which is like I'm pretty sure it's based in the UK. It might not be, but Mango is probably my favorite, and Zara as well. Those are pretty basic, but I thrift a lot. I'm trying not to buy as much clothes as I normally do because I don't need any more. Jason asked what my favorite music is. That is a broad question, and I have a long answer, but I like a lot of old music. I sound like a broken record at this point, honestly. I mean, I like Mac DeMarco and Tame Impala, like those are people that are alive and not 65. But I am also that basic girl who likes the Beatles and the Rolling Stones and the Doors, and I like the Kinks and the Mamas and the Papas and Fleetwood Mac and Bob Dylan, and like the Beastie Boys love them. I feel like my music taste is very all over the place, but generally at the moment, classic rock and like Beatles, but like the Beatles when they got older, like their older albums, like the White Album, or even like Paul McCartney. I friggin' love Paul McCartney's solo career. I love the Wings. George Harrison, friggin' love him. The Wings, yeah, like I said, Paul Simon, Led Zeppelin, come on now. David Bowie, hello. Favorite book I've read? Honestly, again, I cannot even answer that question because it would change every single day, but I'm currently reading Love and Responsibility by JP2. It's a hard read, like it's not like an easy read. It's something that's taking me a long time, but with every page, I genuinely feel like I am re-falling in love with Catholic theology through the way that he writes and what he's writing, obviously. So that definitely is my favorite book at the moment. But again, tomorrow it could be something else. Favorite Beatles song? Again, this is something that changes. Right now, it's probably A Day in the Life, but tomorrow it could be Julia. You know? First celebrity crush, stop. It was Taylor Lautner. I'm gonna try to find a photo for you. I like Taylor Lautner. And it's funny because he was at like the height of his like Twilight fame when I liked him. Mind you, I'd never seen Twilight before because I was in like the 4th grade and didn't watch Twilight. And I had like posters of him on my wall. Confirmation saint. My confirmation saint is Saint Therese of Lisieux. She is... my middle name is Therese, so I thought that was fitting, and I also love her. She's such a girl boss, and we already know, I love her. Emma's got good questions. If you were the boldest version of yourself, what would you change / add to your appearance? Okay, hold on. Physically, I mean, I'm already 6'2", so I guess that's pretty bold. Physically, maybe like, I don't know. I'm already weird looking. I'm 6'2" and I'm, you know, probably like either like probably really short, like a cool short scruffy haircut. I could never pull that off actually. But if I were a bold version of myself, probably that would be, or like really cool, thick brows. Again, I cannot pull that off either. How to develop a sense of style fashion-wise? I don't even know. I mean, honestly, I think you have to know yourself first, right? You have to know what you like, and you'll generally kind of lean into things that you are more interested in. I know for me, like, I've already said, I like a lot of old kind of vintage influenced things. And so my style usually reflects that. I still definitely dress like modern, like you're not going to see me like cosplaying in like 1960s fashion, but my style reflects a lot of like classic pieces that like a turtleneck and slacks or a button down that anybody from any era could wear. And so kind of leaning into things that you already particularly like or genres that you particularly like might help you in like developing and kind of curating a style. Also, having a fashion inspiration Pinterest board helps a lot because you can see what is like actually reoccurring in things that you end up liking from other people's outfits as well. This is a good one. What decade influences you the most with your graphic design style and why? Again, with like the 55 to 75 era, I also really love, specifically with graphic design, I am inspired by a lot of vintage typography advertisements. So I look at a lot of old advertisements in terms of like how I want my fonts to look and things. So even like ads from the 80s, I am really inspired by, or ads from the 90s, pretty much any like 50s to like 80s or 90s advertisement, I pull a lot of inspiration from just because they were always so bold. And obviously if you're talking about an advertisement, you want it to stand out. And so the fonts and the colors would reflect that. Favorite fashion icon and why? Oh my goodness. Audrey Hepburn, because classic beauty, she's the most beautiful one ever. Paul McCartney, because he's wacky. Also George Harrison, because he's cool. A little Grace Kelly mixed with a little bit of Keith Richards. Completely opposite, but I love that. I honestly was thinking about that actually recently, like if I'm a tomboy, because like I love Audrey Hepburn, but also like I love Paul McCartney, you know what I mean? Like they're completely opposite. But like I think that's okay. Like I'm not really a dress person. I do love dresses and I have a ton of like really pretty black elegant dresses. I much prefer wearing like this with like jeans, you know what I mean? Or like some slacks and a button down or something. I don't know. Last question is thoughts on modesty. Good question. If you guys didn't know, I run a Instagram called Mod Threads, which is a modest fashion Instagram, where basically I show you that modesty does not equal frumpy and you can look cool and, you know, normal and wear normal clothes, but still dress modestly. And that's a lot of fun because I have never really struggled with modesty because I generally tend to dress more modestly just because that's how I've always been. Like if I were wearing like a mini skirt right now or like a little crop top, I would freak out and feel not myself. And so that's just me. But also, even though I like to dress modestly, I love fashion. You know, I love dressing nice and picking out clothes, and I'm a girl and I like all that stuff. So, but you don't have to, you know, compromise in that sense. You can still dress totally iconic and be modest. I think that's all the questions I'm gonna answer today. Thank you guys for sending them in. I love doing these. I don't know, I love doing them. I don't know if I'm gonna continue using this backdrop. I do have this whole setup because I've been taking some portrait photography. I'll see if I can insert some pictures of what this set looks like. I didn't just set it up for this video. I've had it up this is pretty much staying here. We have this room in my house that we don't use, so I've been setting this up for portrait photography and stuff. But anyways, thank you so much for watching this video. Make sure to follow, subscribe to this account, give it a like, leave a comment, check out my Instagram. All my links for my portfolio and all that kind of stuff are gonna be down below in case you wanna check it out. Okay, I'll leave you. Bye guys. I don't even know how to end these. I like never do videos anymore. Okay.